everyone, and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, and this is a blue-collar wine show where I help you spend your wine dollars wisely. Got my Drink for Washington shirt on. It is the second Washington Wine Month, and as promised, I'm going to do a few episodes on Washington wines, and this is going to be a blind episode of Washington Cabernet Sauvignon. We got quite a few here, so we're going to dig right in. So, number one. We'll review these. It'll be interesting to see which ones come up on top. They're in various price points, and so I think a few of these I haven't tried in a long time. So I'm very excited about this. I always like to see which ones come out on top. And so here we are, number one, Washington State Cabernet Sauvignon. They produce 54,000 tons of Cabernet Sauvignon each year in the state of Washington. It's the number one workhorse grape of Washington State, which is true in a lot of, probably California as well. And there's 20 AVAs, agricultural viticultural areas now in Washington State. I can remember when there was only 9 or 10, and now there's over 1,000 wineries. In the early 80s, there were only like 25. So it's grown a lot. Washington wine has become very respected, second largest producer in the United States. So let's get started. Number one, Cabernet Sauvignon from Washington State. Now a lot of the elements of the aromatics in the palate will be the same because it's the same varietal. Depends on if they blend anything with it. Let's see, color, fairly dark as you would expect from a cab. Let's see what we get on the nose. Pretty intense currant notes, almost edging on the raisin side. I know we don't use that word a lot, but you know what I mean. I'm getting some nice red flower notes too. I want dark red flowers. And a little bit of cherry. Pretty aromatic this wine is. Let's see what we get on the palate. Solid tannins, but very approachable. Nice little edge to it. Get a little minerality, which I find very interesting. I like that. This is more on the bright red cherry, red currant side of the spectrum. Very bright on the palate. Good balance though. Not super heavyweight cab. Now I know in this lineup, a couple of these wines are some of my favorites, so I'm very curious where they'll end up. I like this cab. It's not super, like I said, super complex, bright fruit, a little bit of, even a little cranberry-esque with that red flower notes coming through as well. And a little bit of that kind of that currant note I talked about, edging towards raisin. Good cab. Not something you to write home about, but pretty good cab. Okay, so I just put a grade on that. We'll see how everything turns out. Let's move on to number two. Number two. I can remember back in the late 80s, early 90s when I first really started getting into the wine world. There wasn't a lot of choices in the kind of the mid-range cab. You had the Columbia Crest Estates, that sort of thing, and then you got into the big boys like Quilceda Creek, Leonetti, Woodward Canyon. But that kind of $20 to $40 range there weren't as many to choose from, at least in my memory. This one's a little darker than the first one. Like a ruby, fairly dark, can't see it through it. I think it's a little darker than the other one. Let's see what we get on the nose. This has a kind of a brooding nose, like you get a little tobacco, currants. A little licorice coming through. Let's see what we get on the palate. Yeah, big, full-bodied cab. Tannins are very approachable. Not super tannic, but you can tell it's a cab. A little bit of spice on the back end, so the use of oak is there. Obviously, that's where you get the spice, probably French oak. French oak tends to be a little bit, in my opinion, just in my experience, a little spicier than American oak. I like the richness on this one. Very smooth, very balanced. Tobacco notes hit on the back side of this one. Lots of good currant notes. A little bit of that spice. Yeah. Almost seemed to get a little bit of a boysenberry splash on this one. Ripe boysenberry. Get a little bit of that tannic hit on the side. Good acidity, good balance. This one is a bad boy, I'm just saying. This is a, I would venture to say this might be up closer to in the $40 range. Possibly, it tastes like it. I'm guessing they use French oak. It's just a guess, guys. You know, it's not going to say on the bottle. It might, you never know. Okay, let's move on to number 3. Oh, it's hard to pour this one out. That's a bad boy. And then right there, I'm glad I did that. I got just a little bit of nettle or something, a little bit of green, but not much. Just to make it more interesting, if you know what I mean. Number 3. Number 2, I think it's obvious, my favorite so far. Could be a big price discrepancy too, I don't know. I forgot to look up a couple of the prices, so we will have to look those up and put them on the subtitles. Sorry about that, guys. I realized I was supposed to look this up and I didn't, but there's a couple here that I might not know the price exactly. Let's see what we get on the nose. Oh, color, again, ooh, I got a big hit of green on that one. This is fairly dark. Big time green on this one. Yeah, like nettles and a little bit of asparagus. Yeah, you can get that veggie element on the nose, and the currants come through as well. A little bit closed up, although I am getting a little bit of baking spice on this one. And tobacco. Let's see what we get on the palate. Now, right on the back of this one, you get kind of that nettle, Brussels sprout thing, that veggie character, but up front, the initial attack is ripe currants. And tannins are not big, chewy tannins, but they're there. This has good balance. Yeah, the tannins get a little grippy on the back end with a little tobacco coming through, currants. That tiny hit of vegetal thing coming through as well, which was very, very common in the 70s with Napa cabs. They all had that vegetal quality to them. A lot of Bordeaux does as well, which is a lot of times cab dominant, especially on the left bank. I like this one. It has an interesting characteristics that the other two did not have. It has some depth to it. A little bit of red flower coming through as well. This is more of the 3. This is a good food cab. I would have this with a rib steak any day, New York, whatever you want to do. Good balance. I like it. I think this one has some ageability too. All right, let's move on. Excited about this, guys. 4. Number 4. I know a lot of you like the blind tastings. They are fun. And it certainly takes out the any sort of subjectivity to a degree. Number 4. Color on this one, about as dark as number 2. Yeah, definitely, what would be the word, garnet? Well, this is totally different. I get cinnamon on the nose. A little bit of orange peel coming through as well. Very interesting. I get a little bit of that ripe currant coming through. But I like that kind of cinnamon baking spice thing going on. Let's see what we get on the palate. Very, very interesting cab. I get that cinnamon orange thing going on with the currants lying underneath. Tannins have a little grip on the backside. Kind of spicy up on the backside on my tongue. It's lingering on my tongue. It's a very interesting cab. I like it because of that. You know, sometimes you like to have something, just a little tweak to it that makes it different. And it could be something they blend with the cab. Very, very interesting cab. Good balance. Interesting flavors. Like I said, that kind of cinnamon, orange peel, currant thing goes on. Tannins have a little grip on the backside. Nice flow across the palate. All right. Not quite as complex as a couple of them, but yeah, still very interesting and unique is the word I was looking for. Number 5. Number 5. I think sometimes, you know, that's why people stick to a certain producer. They don't want to be, they don't want surprises. Some people don't like surprises in their wine. Are you adventurous in your wine drinking? Tell me in the comments. You like to be safe? Let's say you're spending $25 and you say, hey, when I go to buy a wine, I want to know what I'm getting, so I'm going to buy this producer because I know this and this about them. Or are you an adventurous soul, like myself? Number 5. Just over here. Let's see the color on this one. They're all pretty consistent. I think number 2 was the light. Number 1 was the lightest of the bunch. This is definitely a darker. You can barely see through it. Just barely. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what we get on the nose. Very Cab-esque on the nose. I get, seems like the oak is coming through on the nose a little bit more than the other ones. I also get a little bit of that kind of cinnamon baking spice thing on this one. A little licorice coming through, currants. Yeah, there's that interesting spice that comes through on this. I like that. Let's see what we get on the palate. I could be wrong. This definitely, I get more oak on this one than the rest of them did, but it's still pretty solid cab. I mean, yes, there is oak there, but it has a depth to it that's very, very intriguing. The currant notes are definitely riper, but they're in balance. It's not overripe. And these are probably from different vintages as well, which is going to affect them, of course. On the backside, you get a little bit of licorice. I'm even getting a touch of caramel on this one, which is, you know, interesting as well. I'm not sure on this one. Sometimes that caramel element that comes through can be a put off to some people. This isn't overpowering, but it is there. And so you have this currant caramel thing going on. Still good balance. Tannins are a little bit light, a little bit of spice on the back end of this one. That one's going to be a tough one for me to grade. Some things about it I don't particularly like, but there's other things about it that I do like. Okay. Last one, number 6. I'll move this over here, getting everything in my way. Number 6. Washington State Cab Blind Tasting. Watch the caramel out of that one. Sometimes, and I'll just say this, sometimes when you get that caramel, usually it's a a fairer priced cab in the sense that it's cheaper, but not always, you know. But I just have a feeling that one's probably going to be on the low end of the spectrum. Just saying, I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, I'll be wrong again. Color. This is as dark as number 2, I would say. Darker than the last one I just had. Yeah, you cannot see through this one. Let's see what we get on the nose. This bad boy seems like it might need some more decanting. Like I said in these episodes I try to just open them just not too long before I shoot the episode, because most of the people that buy wine pop it, pour it, and drink it. They don't decant. I believe in decanting. I don't preach it, but I believe it does help wine, especially when you get up in the big bad boys. It's always a good idea to decant. I do. Start doing Barolos, Barbarescos, big Bordeauxs. They need decanting. So really dark cherry currant notes on this one. Get some. This one is brooding as well. I refer to one of these as brooding, meaning, you know, there's a lot of depth in those aromatics that I can't nail all of the elements. This has some oak on it as well. I get like that dark red flower, almost like a rose petal thing coming through. Let's see what we get on the palate. Oh. Number 2 had depth. This has a tremendous depth to it. Good tannic structure. Ageability for sure. Nice spiciness on the back end, so I'm thinking French oak is on this one as well. Yeah. This might be one of the spendier ones. I'm curious. It's never embarrassing to me because blind tasting is hard. You just ask any somm how hard blind tasting is. It is very difficult, and as you do it more, you get better at it. I haven't done too many blind tastings recently, so this is really fun for me. Ripe currants, dark cherries, good balance of acidity, grippy tannins on the finish, good ageability on this wine. It definitely has depth. It's rich on the palate without being goopy, if you know what I mean. You know, it's not flabby, it's not goopy, it's not a big fruit bomb, but the fruit is there. Dark cherry, currant, a little bit of dark red flower. Nice spice, nice depth. I like this one a lot. Okay, here we go. This is going to be fun to see where they land, see how I did, see how crappy I am. In last place, no wait, I'm gonna organize them. Boom. Let's see. Let's go to the last place first here. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay, there's the lineup. Drum roll, please. That one's going to be drunk later. In last place with a C plus B minus, which is not bad. I just thought it was a little light on the palate. I'm nervous. Number 1, C plus B minus. 2018, good vintage. The Burn Born of Fire Cabernet Sauvignon. This rolls in at $24. C plus B minus is not bad, but yeah, Born of Fire, last place. In second to last place with a B plus, which is a good grade, is the now this guy. Oh, this is funny. This is the Thurston Wolf, the Teacher Cabernet Sauvignon 2020, Horseheaven Hills. This was Columbia Valley. This rolls in at $23. This got big ups in a recent blind tasting. Thurston Wolf, B plus. In fourth place. No, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Fourth place. Don't know how to count. With a B plus, straight up B plus. Number 4. I'm surprised about the first one, but still, B minus, B plus, straight up is good. This is no, B minus B. Okay, I gotta grab the page. I can't remember. That's so good. Yeah, B plus. That's a good, like I said, that's a good grade. B plus. This is a straight up B plus. This rolls in, first roll, $23. B plus. Oh, I've never had this one before. Truth be told, Cabernet Sauvignon 2019. This rolls in at $17. Okay, so we ran into our first really kind of value pick here. I mean, $17 is a good price for a cab. You can definitely believe that this is going to go into my section. $17. Truth be told, Cabernet Sauvignon, and it has probably Columbia Valley. Yep, Columbia Valley. There you go. Okay, in third place with a B plus, A minus, great grade, is the Gilbert Cellars Cabernet Sauvignon 2017. So it's a little bit older. Horse Heaven Hills. And this rolls in, I believe that this is the one I did not check. I think it's $25. So good job, Gilbert Cellars. Just a quick shout out to Lauren and Max, who really helped me get my hands on some of these wines. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much. In second place with an A plus. Great. I really like this one. It had nice richness, complexity, good balance, all of that. Ooh, look at that. This is another one I haven't had. 2019 Brook Red Mountain Cabernet Sauvignon. Good job. Love Red Mountain. I think you guys heard me say it many times. This is $26. Good job, Brook, with your Red Mountain cab. All right. In first place with a straight up A plus. I love this wine. Very excited about this wine. 2018 Contos Cellars Cabernet Sauvignon from Walla Walla Valley. This rolls in at $45. The most expensive of the bunch, but guess what, guys? It is worth every frickin' penny. Contos Cellars. There you go. A few surprises for me. A few things I've learned about. And, you know, guess what? I found a couple of gems that I have never tried before. So I'm very excited about that. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thanks for all your support. I really appreciate it. You keep watching, and I'll keep helping you spend your wine dollars wisely.